From BBC Learning English, this is Learning English from the News, our podcast about the news headlines.
In this programme, DeepSeek, the Chinese AI app that's shocked the tech world.
Hello, I'm Georgie.
And I'm Neil.
In this programme, we look at one big news story and the vocabulary in the headlines that will help you understand it.
You can find all the vocabulary and the headlines from this episode, as well as a worksheet, on our website, bbclearningenglish.com.
So, let's hear more about this story.
A Chinese AI app, that's artificial intelligence, called DeepSeek, has caught the attention of the entire tech industry and the world.
It was released on the 20th of January and has quickly risen to the top of Apple Store's download charts.
What makes DeepSeek so special is that the company claims the latest model was built using only $5.6 million, whereas OpenAI, that's ChatGPT's developer, spent $5 billion last year alone.
DeepSeek's entry into the market has caused the value of other tech stocks, such as Nvidia's, to fall dramatically.
And our first headline is about the reaction from the AI industry. And the headline is, why is the AI world freaking out over China's DeepSeek? That's from the Japan Times.
Okay, that headline again from the Japan Times. Why is the AI world freaking out over China's DeepSeek?
So this headline is suggesting that the AI world is freaking out about DeepSeek. And we're looking at this phrasal verb, freak out.
Yes, if you freak out, it means you lose emotional control. This can be because of emotions like shock, excitement, fear, or even anger. So why is the AI world freaking out?
Well, if you're an AI fan or even a nerd, you might freak out with excitement at a new tool. But this headline is talking about something else.
Yes, they're referring to the tech companies who might be freaking out with fear or panic because they're losing market share.
Now, in the headline, freak out is followed by over. But in our examples, we've been using about, freak out about. Both about and over are fine.
Yes, we can also use freak out as an adjective, freaked out. We could say the AI world is freaked out.
Yeah, and Georgie, I was freaked out last night when I bumped into my son wandering around the house in the middle of the night, 4 a.m. He really gave me a shock. It really freaked me out.
That does sound a bit scary. Freak out is also a noun, freak out. Other headlines are calling this the DeepSeek freak out. I had a freak out last week when I realised there was no food in the fridge.
That is a serious situation. And if you want to learn more, find the phrasal verbs for feelings video on bbclearningenglish.com. It's got me and Georgie in it. And, Georgie, some pretty good acting from me and Beth, isn't there?
There's some fantastic acting from you and Beth.
We had freaking out, losing emotional control.
For example, I freaked out when my favourite actor walked past me in the street. This is Learning English from the News, our podcast about the news headlines. Today, we're talking about the launch of China's AI app, DeepSeek.
DeepSeek was cheaper to make because it uses fewer advanced chips than other leading models like OpenAI.
That possibility caused the tech giant Nvidia, who make these chips, to lose almost $600 billion of its market value in one day. This is the biggest drop in the history of the US stock market, according to Bloomberg.
Other tech company stocks have also fallen, and the US President Donald Trump has said it was a wake-up call for US companies who must focus on competing to win. He means they need to pay attention, take note of what's happened.
And our next headline is about DeepSeek's effect on the stock market. This one is from the BBC. Nvidia shares Sync as Chinese AI app spooks US markets.
And that headline again from the BBC, Nvidia shares Sync as Chinese AI app spooks US markets.
So this headline is about how Nvidia, the American tech giant, lost $600 billion of its market share, and how DeepSeek is spooking the markets. And we're looking at the word spook. Neil, what can you tell us?
Well, Georgie, I know you love Halloween. People dress up as things like ghosts and skeletons and scary things. And we often use the word spooky as an adjective to describe such scary things.
Yes, but in the headline, spook is a verb. Now, if you spook a person or an animal, it means you frighten or scare them, often with a surprise.
Yeah, but here we're talking about something a bit more abstract, the stock market. DeepSeek spooks US stock market. Now, this means that the release of the AI app has created a sudden sense of fear or nervousness for investors in the stock market.
Yes, this causes the investors to potentially sell their stocks and has created a big shock or disruption in the stock market.
Yeah, so just imagine how this big news in the tech world has caused people to panic.
We've had spook, create a sudden sense of fear or nervousness.
For example, the government's sudden tax cuts spooked the markets. This is Learning English from the News from BBC Learning English. We're talking about DeepSeek, China's new AI app that has shocked the tech industry.
Now, some thought it was obvious that the US would dominate the AI race because of its many data centers and control over the best chips.
But now there is a sense that DeepSeek may have disrupted that confidence.
And we have a headline about this. It's from Business Today, and it says, AI market shake-up. Global giants tumble as Chinese AI model DeepSeek disrupts markets.
That headline again from Business Today. AI market shake-up. Global giants tumble as Chinese AI model DeepSeek disrupts markets.
So again, we're hearing about the fall of these tech giants and the disruption in the markets.
Yes, but we're looking at the word shake-up. AI market shake-up. We all know what shake means, Georgie. If you shake a drink, it mixes the ingredients. And if you're playing a game with some dice, for example, you shake them up and you don't know what numbers you're going to get. It becomes different to what was before and unpredictable.
Okay, what's that got to do with AI?
Good question. Well, lots of people thought that the US would dominate the AI industry. But now there's a shake-up. That means there's been a change. It's become less predictable. Maybe China will be the leader in AI now.
Okay, there's been a shake-up. A work-related example, at work you might have a shake-up. Different positions are created. Some people might have to leave.
And we can also use shake-up as a verb to shake something up. DeepSeek has shaken up the tech industry.
We've had a shake-up, a change.
For example, the football team kept losing, so the coach decided to have a shake-up. She brought in some new players.
That's it for this episode of Learning English from the News. We'll be back next week with another news story.
Now, for a completely different way to learn English, we have a new music series where you can learn English through songs. We visit towns and cities around the UK and meet local musicians who perform their music for us.
You can find the series My Song, My Home on our website, bbclearningenglish.com, or by searching for Learning English Conversations in your podcast app.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok and YouTube. Search for BBC Learning English.
Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.